Hi, it's Alexis. In this video, we're going to talk about avoidant attachment style and avoidant dismissive attachment style. It's very important for you to understand this attachment style because in some occasion, if you are the avoidant one, it's really different to get back with an ex. And if your ex is an avoidant attachment style, things like radio silence, no contact are a little bit tricky and you have to adopt different tactics if you want to get back with your ex. I'm going to explain you everything in this video, share with you the signs that your ex is potentially an avoidant attachment style or that you are potentially an avoidant attachment style and all the actions that you have to take in those situations. I'll see you after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So the animal that would represent this attachment style is a cat. And the cat is very much independent. They value freedom. They can roam wherever they want and they just come back home from time to time to get some food and a cuddle and then they leave and they live their own life. With a dog, you can't really stay away more than a few hours. A cat, you can almost in some occasion leave them for days. You just have there's like machine that delivers food automatically to them. They don't need to see you. They live their life. They're independent. Of course, it's just to exaggerate, just to make the point, but just for you to understand whether you're the cat in the relationship or the dog. And it's really important for you to understand that dynamic because when it comes to extreme cases, it's what would drift couples apart and what would prevent you after a breakup to get back with your ex. So the first sign that someone is avoidant attachment style, I was about to say anxious, avoidant, is emotionally that he or she was emotionally neglected in childhood. Before I do, I want to remind you that I put together a quiz for you to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. It takes 2 minutes, it's totally free. And you get a result right away. Hopefully you have a score above 15, which means that there's a chance to get back with your ex. If you take the quiz and you have a score below 15, stop watching my video, do something else for your life. Life is too short. Don't waste it trying to fix something that you can't fix. Hopefully you have more than 15. So, and so you feel safer keeping your emotions to yourself. So some parents, and it's from Healthline statistics, might discourage that their child from expressing emotions, positive or negative. And the result is that children, they have to fend for themselves. They have to really be independent and, take care of themselves and also hide their emotions and hide their vulnerability from others. And what's going to happen is that when these children becomes an adult, they reproduce the same. They are struggling to express their emotion. They hide their emotion. And sometimes they think that they shouldn't listen to their emotions. You really want to push them deep and deep in the back of their head or in the back of their stomach. They tend to suppress emotion, as I mentioned. They think that showing emotion is a weakness. You need to be shown that you have you're cold-blooded, and that you're cool as a cucumber. That's how you have to behave when you're adult. You can see, and as a parent, sometimes we do that. Come on, behave, stop crying. We tend sometimes to think that it is good for our children. Again, when you do that, the adult will be uncomfortable disclosing vulnerabilities. And how can you be in a relationship if you're not comfortable sharing those things? This is why it's very hard for an avoidant personality to sustain long-term relationship. And it is perhaps one of the reasons, or maybe one of the reasons that it didn't work out with your ex. It's not so much about you, maybe a little bit more about them, about this attachment style. And so, again, they look down on people who are emotionally vulnerable on themselves. So they would see she's always crying, she's always complaining, she's over emotional. They'll be judgmental of those kind of things. Third is they have trouble dealing with emotional intimacy. So difficult with emotional expression. Of course, they're going to shy away from emotional closeness. they're afraid to reveal too much. They don't want to show their true self. And so their defense mechanism for you to have extreme boundaries, and that's the fourth sign, have extreme boundaries. So they will adopt firm and strict boundaries, sometimes very extreme. So for example, I cannot see you in two days in a row. It's too much for me, it's overwhelming. So they're going to restrict the amount of time spent together, refusing to share some part of your life. And people who have those behavior, they appear distant, they appear closed off. And sometimes as a partner, we feel like, yeah, they don't love us, they don't want to be with us. This is because they're avoidant, they are scared of something. And those attachment styles, anxious and avoidant attachment style, the common thing is really fear. They are scared of something. If you are an avoidant attachment style, it's because you're scared of commitment. If you are an anxious attachment style, you're scared of not being with someone. You're scared of not being good enough. And it's really fear that's driving those behavior. Now, the same thing that I did on the other video about anxious attachment style. This is not set in stone. You can work on yourself. It's not because you see those aspects of your personality, you see like, oh yeah, this is me, this is me, this is me, or this is my ex, this is my ex. People can change. It is not like you're black or white, you're a male or a female. This stuff can change. It's only a reaction. Of course, it might take some time because it's stuff that you brought up from your childhood, that you developed and sustained for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. A framework, stories that you repeat to yourself for all these years that you have to break down, but you can change them. There's no reason for you to feel that you need to set boundaries with your partner. There's no reason for you to feel that actually it's too much to be with a partner for more than 2 days. Okay, these are stories you tell yourself, and at the end of the video, I'll explain you what you should be doing if you're an avoidant attachment style, or if your ex is an avoidant attachment style. Of course, they only have shallow relationships, so they refuse the growth in a relationship. So anything substantial like meeting your parents, avoiding a topic of discussion like marriage, kids, they really refuse to go into emotional depth about themselves, and they have refuse to have long conversation or see others often. Okay, really very much superficial in a way, not because they are superficial people, but they feel that it's dangerous to have a very deep emotional connection with someone. And of course, strong independence. We mentioned that some parents, they force their kids to be very independent, and that's what created that attachment style. So when children are forced to become independent too early, they develop a strong need to always solve problems on their own. They'll never basically ask you for any help. They will never tell you when things are bad with their life. They really want to stay on their own and fix their own shit, right? Have trust issue. They got did they get the proper attention when they were a child? They have really hard time trusting others. Struggle to trust even the closest friend. And they will try to distance themselves from wanting or receiving affection from others. It's really typical. They really struggle to trust people. They really feel like, I'm pretty sure there's another version of the truth. I'm pretty sure that they have another agenda. And so they will not get close with someone. They are very critical. They're really critical on themselves, and they're really critical on others. They find faults in those around them. They also listen a lot to their inner critical voice, and obviously it overshadows their inner positive voice. And it's really the key aspect of if your ex is an avoidant attachment style, they will hear those negative voices like, it is scary to get committed. I'm going to get hurt if I get with that person. He's lying to me. He's trying to manipulate me. They're going to repeat those stories. So we have to really break that narrative in their mind if we want to get back with them. And so they also tend to see, the fault. They see the glass half empty all the time with their partner. And they'll find the best always excuses to break up. Sometimes I have conversations with, very frequently with my clients, is that they say like, yeah, but they found just a silly excuse to break up. Well, that's what an avoidant attachment style would do. They will see that, okay, I need to be independent. This is too much for me, and they'll come up with the most random fight to say like, okay, you see, it's over. That's what I told you. And for you, it's just come as a surprise. Just because they're always looking for ways to exit a relationship. So what does it mean for you? Dating an avoidant partner means that you can feel you're not valued, you're emotionally deprived, unimportant, unable to truly commit, confused, not good enough, something's wrong with you, lonely, abandoned. Now, the reason I'm shooting this video is for you to understand that all those things that you might be thinking about yourself are just a perception of someone who acts in a different way. So there are 3 attachment styles. There are the secure attachment style. 65% of the population have this attachment style. And so if you are secure and you date someone who's avoidant, then you feel like, what the fuck is going on with me? You're really confused. You feel that you're not good enough. But in reality, it's not so much about you. It's about your ex. Now, if you have an anxious attachment style, the same applies. It's going to be, the thing is, if you're anxious attachment style, you'll see that more of an extreme way. You feel even less valued than someone who's secure. You feel even less important. You'll really feel even more confused. And that's why maybe you're watching this video, because you want to learn. Now that you know this information, it is really about how you react to this information. So there are 4 steps to follow. The first one is to discover your attachment style. Second one is to communicate your needs. Third one is to love yourself. I love this one. And the fourth one is to go with the flow. I'm going to detail everything. Discover the attachment style. I will make another video, I'll put the link somewhere, about this specific one. I'll just do a brief summary on this one. There are 4 major attachment styles. I think in reality only 3 major. One is the secure, the avoidant, and the anxious attachment style. And I regrouped those avoidant and fearful together. Fearful is very not common, and I think it's more like people who hate people. The way you have to see it is that you have a positive model of others, and you have a positive model of the perception of yourself, high value or low value, perception of the others. If you have a high perception of people and a high perception of yourself, you are secure. If you have a negative perception of yourself and a positive perception of your partner, then you're anxious. And if you have a positive version of yourself, a negative perception of the other, then you're avoidant. You feel that it's a bit like I'm better off. I'm better off on my own. An avoidant will be, I don't deserve that person. So it's a different dynamic. And really, and of course, it's not like always black and white. I have a bit of an anxious style. I have a bit of an avoidant style in some occasion. But understand what sort of attachment style is playing when you behave in one way or another. When you do radio silence, are you doing radio silence to someone who's avoidant? Of course, it's going to be very difficult to get back with an ex who's an avoidant attachment style when you do radio silence, because obviously they were looking for that void. They were looking to be apart from you. That's what they were after. And so I'm very pragmatic in that sense. And that's why I would recommend you to give me a call if you're not sure what to do, and if you're not sure whether your ex is avoidant, because in those occasions I'm more in favor of contacting your ex, because a lot of the time they will basically just take your hand and accept that actually you reached out. The anxious would be different. I think the anxious, I guess you'll have to let them come to you, but it really depends on cases, so I don't want to overgeneralize, but it's very important for you to know this attachment style and know whether you're being the secure person or you're being the anxious person, whether your ex is being secure, avoidant, and anxious. So if it doesn't make sense, just comment. Communicate your needs and to make a list of clear expectations and boundaries. So the thing is, you have to do this, but you have to avoid doing demands, express what makes you upset. It's just that this is what I accept. This is what I want from a relationship versus this is, no, I don't want this, I don't want that, okay? You really want to create that safe environment with boundaries so that partner can come and discuss in good terms with you. Create a safe space, so emotionally stable. An avoidant personality would hate to be someone who is over emotional, someone who cries, someone who begged, someone who plead. It's gonna drift them even further apart. They're gonna hate that. It's gonna make them really uncomfortable. So also be consistent and logical. Remember, you are working on yourself to be more secure. They have a problem in a way. They are the one avoiding being with someone. They are the one who are reproducing really unhealthy and toxic framework, relationship framework. It's not you who basically is doing the wrong thing. So if you're consistent, if you're logical, if you know what you want, then you are basically setting up the scene for a strong relationship. Now, also remember that you're not your ex's therapist. Sometimes when I speak with my clients, they feel like, okay, I really need to help her. I need to tell her to do this, and this, and this. Well, I could be doing this because I'm not their ex. You're the last person they want to get help from when they have this type of issue. So again, depends on the case. We can discuss how to do it, but it's good if you see that your ex is avoidant attachment style and has the motivation and willingness to get some help, to suggest that this is someone. And if you're an avoidant attachment style and want to have successful relationship, I would highly suggest that you get someone to help you out, because you will never be in a relationship more than a few years, and you will always find ways to sabotage your relationship. So if you want kids, if you want a family, and feel that you have this strong avoidant style, then get some help. Love yourself. So think about what you can change, how you can improve. Again, how can you move from being in maybe the anxious, or how can you be really secure? Take positive actions today. Okay, if you don't know, give me a call. I have 15-minute calls in my diary every day. It's totally free. We can discuss what you should be working on. This is the starting point. If you want to be with someone who's avoidant, you have to become a magnet. The equation is very simple. You make change, you evolve, you make yourself better, and that would radiate outside. And therefore you become the magnet. You don't hunt bees with vinegar, with honey. I don't know if it's an expression in English, but that's what we say in French. You have to be the honey if you want to attract a bee. Don't try to get a bee with a net, for example. Just become that honey and attract your ex this way. It's the only way to get an avoidant back. Accept that what you did might have caused your ex to pull away. So again, being over emotional, bleeding, all this kind of stuff. But don't take it personally. It's just because they're having this attachment style that they reacted this way. Focus on your path. Really, go back to point 3. Focus on yourself. Look at the things you have to change in your life. Look at the things that would make you a better person and attract your ex. Create that magnet. It is so important. You have to become the honey. You have to become honey. Okay, take care of yourself. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. I always forgot to say that. It really helps me to share the content to a broader audience. You can also subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.